Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. We're going to be live on the air in about 8 or 9 minutes. So you get a little pre-show here. And what I've been doing here is I'm making a vlog that I'll have up either today or tomorrow. Welcome, everyone. We got a lot to cover. A lot to cover. I have to listen to this one audio soundbite that I'm going to play before I go on the air to make sure that there's no profanity in it. It's Don Lemon and Joy Reid. No. Okay. No profanity by Joy Reid, so I can play that. We'll be live on the air in a few minutes. Okay. I'm still setting up, guys. Where's my laptop? I'll be right back. Gotta get my laptop. Oh, no, I don't need my laptop. I thought I did, but I don't. If you're new, my name's Brian. I am going to be live on the radio in just a few minutes. This is a little pre-show. Okay. We will be live shortly. There we go. Welcome, everyone. My name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. It is Open Phones on Friday's show. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. Anything and everything on your mind is fair game on Friday's show. I just turned the phones on, so I always test them before I go on the air. Okay. Got that working. Always test the phones. They're always working, except when I don't test them, and that's the days they don't work. Okay, what am I going to cover first? Oh, yes. All right. We have a lot to cover on this program, no doubt about it. I'm going to start with that. Yeah, President Trump has uncovered a pretty big plot going on against him. Trump's not being rude to Europe. Europe's being rude to America. They've been ripping us off, man. They got to stop ripping us off. That's right, he's a straight shooter. No BS. That's Trump. No BS. There we go. Gotta tighten the mic a little bit. This microphone arm, I gotta tighten with an Allen wrench every time I move it. Okay. I use my iPad as my clock when I'm on the air. Well, trolls are out of control today. I know. Well, all this winning, Trump and Elon Musk are saving our country, so the trolls can't handle that. Oh, great. My iPad is frozen. Guess I won't be using my iPad as the clock because it's frozen. I have to use my iPhone. Got 4 minutes until showtime. My iPad is locked. Or is it's just frozen. This is an old iPad. I don't use it for much, but I do use it for a second monitor on my laptop. I got to get that going. I'll have to use my iPhone until I get that going. We got 2 minutes. 2 minutes until showtime. Exactly 2 minutes. I do not know why my iPad is frozen, but it's frozen. It's not doing, there we go, okay. Very frustrating. Completely frozen. Okay, now it's working. Roy, $5 super sticker, thank you. Welcome to the stream, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk, and we are going to be live in seconds. Perfect. In fact, in 20 seconds, we're going to be live. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. We've got a lot to cover. Also, it is open phones. It is Friday. That means it's open phones. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. And on Open MAGA Mike Friday, you can call in about any and everything on your mind. You're not limited to the stories, the topics that I bring up. Although I'm going to bring up some things that I think are worthy of discussion and hope that you do call in about them. But you don't have to talk about anything I bring up. The show prep is up to you in the audience on Friday's show. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. All right. So there's been what a lot of people are calling an extension of the lawfare going on. But really, technically that's true, but there's also an insurrection going on, maybe even a coup against our favorite president, the 45th and 47th president of the United States, President Trump, through these judges. And these judges think they're the president. These low-level federal district judges, whatever Trump does, they issue an order telling him to stop. And this is insane. He can't call for Marine One to take him to Andrews without some federal judge coming in and saying he can't do that. Never seen anything like this before. Well, something dropped yesterday that's huge, which I'm going to get to in just a moment about all of that. And it's something that I don't even know if the mainstream media will even reference it. If they have, let me know. I'm not saying no one in media. I'm talking about the mainstream media. And the less they report it, the more confirmation of what I'm going to share with you is 100% accurate. And we'll get to that in just a moment. I do want to say something about Pam Bondi, because I'm seeing a lot of people that are losing patience with Pam Bondi. You shouldn't. President Trump's been praising Pam Bondi quite a bit. And Pam Bondi she believes just like we do. She's as MAGA gets. And she does everything by the letter of the law. And they have captured how many of the 10 most wanted? Maybe 4, 6 of the... I've got an article on this we'll get to later. They've captured half, maybe more, of the America's most wanted top 10 fugitives already, with Kash Patel in charge. My guess is that Pam Bondi very well may, right now as we speak, have multiple grand juries impaneled. Grand juries are secret, so you don't know about them until you get an indictment. If she doesn't have grand juries going on right now, That means that Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are conducting major investigations, interviewing witnesses, collecting evidence that they will at some point take to a grand jury. So don't lose patience with Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi's fine. President Trump's praising her, so that's good enough for me, and it should be good enough for you. Now, if President Trump drops her, that's a whole nother thing. But he's been going out of his way to praise Pam Bondi at all of the recent events that he's had, that she's been at. So he knows exactly what she's doing behind the scenes that we don't know about. So just be patient. Be patient. But like I say, if Trump drops her, well, then all bets are off. But I think she and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are on the job. These three are very tight friends. They all are Floridians, live in Florida. They've known each other for years. They think alike. They believe in the same things, and all three of them are MAGA as much as I am and you are. So I don't have any worries, unless Trump comes out and says something, but I have zero worries about Pam Bondi. And I understand being impatient. I'm impatient too. I want these lawfare people that broke into Mar-a-Lago and brought all these fake charges and everything, I want them busted. There's no getting around it. I want them in jail too. They are criminals. But I believe that one of President Trump's biggest missions in his second term is to end this lawfare. And for lawfare to end, well, people are going to have to be arrested. That's it. Now, what President Trump uncovered is huge, and this really blew my mind. And at the center of this is Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, appointed by G.W. Bush, John Roberts, the Chief Justice, who is a major sellout. Listen to this. This is in the Gateway Pundit. Chief Justice John Roberts caught in secretive, invite-only club of elite judges and lawyers. And these are hardcore leftists, including many of those who are working against our great President Donald Trump. Investigative journalist Bad Kitty, see that we're in the new era of the media, Bad Kitty Unleashed, responded on Thursday. I'm behind on my, I've given up giving up coffee, guys. I tried 2 days this week to cut back on my coffee with massive withdrawals, so I'm a little behind on my coffee. I decided when I woke up this morning, I am giving up coffee. Let me start over. Investigative journalist Bad Kitty Unleashed reported on Thursday that Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts is involved in a secretive, invite-only club for elite judges in Washington, D.C. The Secretive Club of America, Ends of Court, also includes radical, America-hating judges Boasberg, Howe, Ketanji Brown Jackson, Mahita, all hard left judges, and Trump haters. John Roberts has been Chief Justice of the court since 2005. And then they ask in this article, what in the world is he doing fraternizing in a secret group with far left judges? The Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts is holding secretive meetings with far left district judges who are running a judicial coup on the current president of the United States. This is a massive story. And remember, it was this week Judge Roberts was backing up that corrupt judge. So now we know what's going on here. These judges are not just rogue Obama, Biden, maybe there's some Clinton judges in there. These are judges that have an organized plot with Chief Justice John Roberts at the head of the organization. It's kind of like the Star Chamber. And they are conspiring against the President of the United States. Is this an insurrection? Is it a coup? What is it? And this idea that President Trump can go to the Supreme Court and they'll get these judges under control, well, how's he going to do that if the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court is one of the co-conspirators? Now, Ron DeSantis came up with something which I'll share after the break. that is an incredible workaround that I've never heard of involving these federal judges. But with this secretive group that John Roberts heads, and remember, John Roberts is also the head FISA judge, we now know what's going on. So the question is this something that Roberts and this group have gone rogue on in their organization to stop Trump? Or does he have a handler? Are these Bush Republicans? I'd like to hear your thoughts on this, and I'll share some of the things that Ron DeSantis brought up, which are absolutely amazing, things I did not know about. I don't think many people did. If you're on hold, hang in there. I will go to the calls after our first break. Remember, today is open phones, Open MAGA Mike Friday. The show prep is up to you guys. You can call in about any and everything on your mind. And as always, the calls are 100% unvetted, unscreened and unvetted. And what that means, for those of you that are new, no one answers the phones. When you call, I just reach over to the phone and put you on hold. And I take you live on the air. I don't know who you are. No one has talked to you. And we don't know what you're going to bring up. Everything is cold calling on this program, 100% unvetted, which is, has some drawbacks. And a reminder, no profanity, all right? That will end the call. Okay, we're going to take our first break of this Friday edition. I'm Brian Craig. It's March 21st. This is the Steve Kane Show. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. Every line on the board is full. Oh, there's one opening. One opening on the board. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Welcome, everyone. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. My name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I mean, this secret organization of judges that John Roberts has, I mean, that's crazy. I wonder how many of these other secret groups there are out there. I know, I miss Matt Gaetz. I do too. But they ran him out of Congress. 2 minutes. We'll be back on the radio in 2 minutes, so if you're on hold, hang in there. Yeah, toll-free call from Hawaii too, indeed. There's one opening on the board right now. And I'm going to take the calls in the order in which they were received. The first round, I can always keep track because it starts at line 1 and works down. As the show goes on, sometimes I'll lose track of what order everyone called in on. If by the wrong side of history you mean the right side of history, I would agree. We are on the right side of history, no doubt. Just over 1 minute, we'll be back. One minute. all right. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. We only have one opening on our board at 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Dr. Ken Schwartz, Jupiter. Thanks, Brian.
Hey, what's up?
Not much. I got a question about the Democratic Party. Straighten me out on this if you can. They have been promoting the weirdest and most negative values for the longest time. You know what I'm talking about. We don't need to repeat all the different issues.
You mean slavery, internment of Americans of Japanese descent, Tuskegee experiments, lynching? Yes. Yes.
Everything. And they changed Trump's policy the minute they got in office in 2020, pipeline, border, all that stuff.
Yep.
They woke up on November 6, 24, shocked that the hatred of Trump amongst many Americans didn't carry them on their magic carpet ride to another victory.
Mm-hmm.
They looked in the mirror and they claimed, we need to change our leadership. And I was shocked. I'm like, well, yeah, that's easy to do. What you need to do is get back the trust of the American people, which is totally in the trash can. Shocking, transparent. I don't know how they don't see that. And since then, in the interim, they have continued on this path of anti-Trump. They didn't stand and clap when he addressed Congress. It's shocking. It's great because they're playing right into the hands of the Republicans, which I love. What's your take on this?
Well, I agree with everything you said, but except they have made a little bit of a pivot. They've realized that hating on Trump doesn't get them very far, so they've changed that to hate on Elon Musk. So they so they have pivoted a little bit. Well, the problem the Democrats have is the face of their party are radical, American-hating, anti-white racist, right? You know, Jasmine Crockett, AOC, Tlaib, all these Ilhan Omar. So their party has been taken over by radical, anti-American, anti-white racist, and they've decided that they lost because they aren't radical enough.
Amazing.
I know.
I grew up in the 60s. Everything was different in those days. Like northern New York, it was blue as the sky. It's amazing the changes.
That's great. All right, Dr. Ken, good to talk to you. All right, take care. No, that's not Dr. Ken from The Hangover. That's another Dr. Ken. Although I wouldn't mind. That guy's got to be a liberal jerk, but Dr. Ken from The Hangover, but he's kind of funny. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine, Brian.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, as soon as the appellate courts weigh in on the district courts, which have no jurisdiction out of their local districts, why isn't the Supreme Court going to jump right in and shut down those district courts? They have no business.
Well, there's a reason why.
Anything.
There's a reason why, and I'll tell you, Jeff. This story that I opened with at 6, I don't know if you missed it, but we find out that Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court, John Roberts, has this secret organization of federal judges, including these radicals, are in this group that have secret meetings all the time. So this is an orchestrated, planned effort against President Trump that looks like John Roberts may be the leader of.
But you know what the good thing is? Now we got Cash Patel and Dan Bongino and others, Pam Bondi, that's going to find out that, and they're going to shut that down, I bet, because we need the three branches of government, but one doesn't outweigh the other, and they're overdoing their boundaries, the judiciary. Don't you agree?
Yeah, this idea that separate but equal is not true. They are not equal. The other branches of government are not equal. They want to say co-equal branches and all that. No, that's just not the case. They're very separate, and some have more power than others, and no one's more powerful than the chief executive branch, But, yeah. Well, a little later, Ron DeSantis, he revealed something that Trump could use to get around these federal judges without going to the Supreme Court. I'll get to that in a little bit.
I got one more thing to say, Brian. Did you hear, I don't know if it was a town hall meeting or something, that our Cortez, that lunatic from New York, what's her name, AOC?
Yeah, Cortez.
She got shut down. She got shut down and yelled at and screamed at by her constituents, and she tried to downplay him and joke it off.
Yeah.
She's in deep trouble. She's not going to make it back, I bet.
I hope not. I hope not. She's the worst. Maybe that's why she's trying to replace Schumer in the Senate.
I think so. And they're all running for cover now, because every time, I forget who it was in the Republican Party says, we don't need to do anything. We just need the Democrats to keep opening their mouth and talking. They're destroying themselves now.
Yep, there's a lot of truth to that. All right, Jeff, have a great weekend. All right, take care. Oh, by the way, before I forget, did you see the NTSB preliminary report is out on that Delta crash in Canada, the one that flipped over and burst into flames? And the lady pilot made a mistake. I'll get to that a little bit too. It's total fault of the lady co-pilot on that aircraft. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Speak up.
Hey, how's it, brother? I said, how's it, brother? My name is Kona from Hawaii.
All right. Hey, Hawaii. What's
how's
up?
it, brother? Just want to say God bless you and thank you for doing what you're doing. And that shirt that you got on, I got that in a big flag that I like to fly in Hawaii.
Oh, that's nice. Are you native Hawaiian?
Yes, sir.
I can hear.
I'm mixed plate.
Okay, because I can hear the Hawaiian accent. Is Hawaii as liberal as ever, or is it getting more MAGA?
Yeah, it is corrupt as heck down here, bro.
Yeah. Starting with those fires in Maui, real estate racket.
Oh yeah, and 100 kids missing.
Do people?
And
let me ask you. In Hawaii, do people in Hawaii believe that the Maui fires was a real estate scam? Because I noticed none of the big mansions burned down.
Yes.
Like in Malibu.
I do believe that.
Yeah.
BlackRock and Oprah was trying to buy, what do you call that? Land grabs down there.
Just like in the California fires, yeah. All right. Well, Hawaii, it's good to hear from you, man.
Yeah, well, God bless you, brother, and thank you for what you do, bro.
All right.
God bless Donald Trump and Elon Musk.
That's right. Hawaiian MAGA right there, guys. Native Hawaiian MAGA. Native Hawaiians for Trump. Oh, man. All right. There's two openings on our board at 1-888-465-2631. 1-888-465-2631. I'm going to tell you that, Mother's Day is going to be here before you know it. MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane. There's so many great deals there. Right now, the premium My Pillows, just $19.98. This is the Giza pillow. It has that Giza cotton cover on it. It's the piping around it. It's an upscale My Pillow, less than $20 with our promo code Kane at checkout. There's free shipping offers as well at MyPillow.com on orders over $75. And just huge savings site-wide. And remember, every time you go to MyPillow and use our promo code Kane, you're supporting this program, which, of course, I want to thank all of you for doing. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll be right back. Full board of calls. Hang in there, guys. We'll be back in just over 1 minute. Welcome if you're new. My name's Brian. This is where manga comes to talk. This is a radio station break, traffic and weather break, bottom of the hour. And if you're new, make sure you subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like and share the video. Every line on the board is lit. Today is open phones. On Friday, Monday through Thursday, you got to call in about what we bring up. But on Friday's show, it's open phones. We call it Open Maga Mike Friday. Anything and everything on your mind is fair game on Friday's show. And that's today. So every line on the board is lit. And all the calls are totally unvetted, screenless. No one answers the phones when you call in. I just put you on hold without even answering. And I know nothing about, and I also have the caller ID turned off on the phone in front of me. I don't know who's calling in. Here we go. Welcome back, everyone. My name's Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Every line on the board is lit, so let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. This is Joanne in Pamela.
Hey, Joanne.
We may not need the Supreme Court. I don't know if you heard that Senator Josh Hawley introduced legislation to stop these judges.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would assume that it would get through, and that would fix it.
They could.
So we'll see.
That sounds good to me. You mean impeach these criminals? Yeah.
Because these judges have got to stop. This is crazy. And I understand that in 1948, they had a thing with Truman and this exact law that the law that Trump is using to deport these people. And it was confirmed that he could use it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how to changing it.
Yeah, and the war was over in and the war was over in 1948. I had not heard that Truman used it. I knew Roosevelt did.
Yeah, Truman did.
No, okay.
And I just want to let you know about Senator Hawley.
I'll check into it. All right, appreciate the call. Thanks so much. Good points. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, thank you for having me on.
All right, speak up. Speak up. Speak up. You're too low. Got to speak up.
Hi, thank you for having me on.
Now, stand by, Mike. Here we go.
I'm William from Minnesota.
Oh.
And I was just wondering what your thoughts on Donald Trump's campaign quote that he used was to lower prices on day one. He hasn't done that at all in his first.
Oh, okay. Let me ask you. You're in Minnesota. You say President Trump hasn't lowered prices. You're in Minnesota. Let me ask you. Have you been in a coma and have just come out of a coma after a few months?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Have you been incarcerated? Have you been in prison and not had the news available to you?
No.
Oh, okay. So you're just uninformed, I guess. I don't know. You know, prices of everything have been coming down. Gas has dropped. Eggs have dropped by over 30%, and prices throughout the country are dropping.
How so?
Go to the store. Go to the gas station. The prices are lower.
How are they dropping?
They were higher than they are now.
Yes, how are they dropping?
They're dropping for a number of reasons, okay? One of them is oil prices have dropped significantly, and that's one of the main drivers of inflation. So because oil prices are going down, gas prices are going down, the cost of manufacturing and delivering goods has gone down. That causes a price drop. That's one of the reasons. Are you okay? Let me ask you, do you smoke weed?
Nope.
Do you take CBD? Do you take CBD gummies?
I do not.
Do you take any?
One of the reasons why.
Yeah.
Well, one of the reasons why gas prices are low around the country is because not a lot of people are buying gas because this is the winter. Early
Oh,
spring,
no, you're in.
spring,
I am
winter.
in sunny South Florida. Okay, I'm about to
Yeah,
go on.
that's
I'm
really
about to
cold
take a
there.
beautiful cruise. You're in icicle
Well,
land. You're in icicle land. You have a
yeah,
governor.
good chunk.
You have a governor in Minnesota who's probably a Chinese spy who's incompetent. Okay, so I understand life sucks in Minnesota. You got crap weather. You got a crap governor who's a
Well,
foreign agent. So I understand,
it's
but most of the
Midwest.
country's not frozen like Minnesota.
Well, it's Midwest. You gotta learn how Midwestern
I'm originally
are.
from Ohio, which is the
Midwestern
Midwest.
is.
I'm originally a Midwesterner myself, but I'm in Florida now. Most of the country is not frozen in like Tim Walz's failed state of Minnesota.
Well, Nebraska, Colorado, Oklahoma.
Let me ask you what you do for a living. What do you do for a living?
What do I do for a living?
Oh, he's repeating the question. Yes. No, what do I do for a living? Yes, what do you do for a living? You got to think about it.
Pharmacist.
You're a pharmacist?
I am a pharmacist.
You're a
Yes,
pharmacist?
I'm a pharmacist, but
Really?
So I, as a person with a job.
No, slow down. You're a pharmacist? You work at a
and
pharmacy?
I don't question what you do.
So
even
if
you
I
do
can't,
during
if
the
I don't
day,
have the ability,
even though
if
during
my
the day-
no, I got a pharmacist question for you. So my doctor prescribes a medication I'm not capable of swallowing. I need it in lollipop form. How do you take my medication and turn it into a lollipop?
you don't.
Oh, you don't? You
Either
sure
way,
about that?
It doesn't matter what I do for a living.
Oh, now it doesn't matter. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's what I've come up with a new term for these guys. Cosplay callers. Cosplay callers. They're callers, they're typically liberal, and they have this fantasy life. I don't know who fantasizes about being a pharmacist. That seems like it sucks. Pharmacists have advanced college degrees and they work in retail their whole life. That sucks. Who wants to do that? But yeah, no, you can get some prescription medications turned into lollipops. That is a true thing. I didn't just make that up if people are wondering. Okay, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, earlier you talked about this cabal of judges who, but basically the leader of this cabal is what? John Roberts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've got to cut off the head of that snake, and the head of that snake is John Roberts.
Okay, I don't know exactly what that means, and I don't want to know. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. My name is Connie.
What's your name?
My family.
Oh, hold on one second here. Hold on. Give me a second. My phones are ringing off the. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead. What's on your mind?
Okay. Good morning, Brian.
Yes.
My name is Connie, and I just want to say thank you for all you do and telling the truth raw and in a good way.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
That's it?
I am an
Okay.
I'm a Hispanic woman, and my family and we are MAGA people.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Okay.
All right, take care.
Okay.
Good to hear from you. Good to hear from you. All right, nice lady, nice lady. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name's Alex. I'm from Nebraska.
Oh, come on. Listen. I have very few rules on the program, okay? It's one call per day. You've already called. We got through your fake pharmacy cosplay. You can call next time I'm on, but don't call again today, all right? It's one call per day. Okay, it's one call per day, okay? And I call again, I'll have to ban you. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Montana Mark.
Hey, Mark, what's up?
I want to tell that guy from Minnesota that you have to be patient because it takes only a little time to screw everything up, but it takes a lot longer to make everything right.
That is true.
Things happen faster on the East Coast than the West Coast, and certain places like North Dakota Montana, where I live, it takes longer to see results. But here in Billings, food prices went down maybe $1.25.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's true. You know, things are going down. Everything's going down.
And I don't understand it, but the middle part of America, you see the results. It takes a lot longer.
Mm-hmm.
But like broccoli used to be $3 a pound. Now it's like $2.
Oh, that sounds like a good deal. All right, I appreciate the call from Montana. Good. See, prices are coming down. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how you doing this morning? My name is Donald, and I'm calling from Florida, sir.
Okay, hold on, Donald. Hold on. All right, let's see. Yeah, go ahead, Donald.
So, I first registered to vote, and the first president that I ever voted for was actually Ronald Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't particularly have a beef with President Trump or with Joe Biden. And the reason that I don't, and I'll tell you, is because I have more of a beef with the federal government as a whole. And my belief is that we already have 4 levels of government in the country. We have a local, we have a county, and we have a state, and then a federal. And all these different levels do different things, but they all have one thing in common.
Mm-hmm.
They take taxes from us, taxes. So my beef is with a federal government that allows a Federal Reserve to control our money.
Mm-hmm. Well, the problem is with you know, I don't know who's controlling my money. I mean, you know, who, you know, and you're
the thing is,
and
too, you know,
yeah.
It's like, what is money backed by? We know it's not backed by gold and silver any longer.
That's
okay?
right. Since
so
Nixon.
Ask yourself, what is it backed by? And if
well,
you look it up, it's backed by jobs and by the GDP.
It's backed up by it's backed up by nothing. But
right,
in theory, it's backed up by the good faith and credit of the United States government.
But it's actually backed by job numbers and GDP, what we put out in this country. And here's the problem I have with the government, the federal level. Both parties, they continuously allow manufacturers and companies in this country to export manufacturing to other countries in the world.
Well, wait a second. President Trump, President Trump is stopping that. That's why I lost track of which line he was on. I think it was that's why President Trump is using the tariffs to bring manufacturing back here.
I do understand that, but that's a long process.
Well, and you got to still do it. How else would you do it?
But here's the thing. You're going to offset financially this country in a lot of ways using those tariffs, because we're going to end up in a tariff war. And we've already
no. What other way
so
would no? Hold on a second. Hold on. Listen, libertarians got a lot of gripes, but no actionable solutions.
Well, here's the thing.
No, let me add. No. Here's the
thing. In the federal government.
Let me add.
They're quiet.
Rand Paul, okay, is a libertarian.
They're quiet. They're quiet. There's no.
Well, can you be quiet for? Well, maybe you can. You be quiet so I can get a word in. Okay, President Trump is bringing manufacturing jobs back through the tariffs. What way would you do it that's better and faster?
I would do it through a legislative process, expedited. I wouldn't add.
No, that's a vague generality. What would the bill be? What would the bill be?
You would so it would be like this. If you have a company that has a certain amount of worth behind them invested in this country, as far as job numbers, money they're producing, and the taxes they're paying in, okay, that's fine. Here's the thing. Then that company should only be limited to a certain percentage of manufacturing.
Oh my goodness! Okay. In other words, I don't know what you're talking about. Listen.
Don't ship the whole country, the
president
out.
They're already gone. They're already gone. Okay, you got to get out of the.
That.
You got to get out of
but
the.
Who did that? Who did that, though?
The crooked politicians.
Who did that?
The crooked politicians.
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
Both parties. That's the problem.
Well, President Trump has taken over the Republican Party and pushed those corrupt people out of power.
Only as one guy, brother.
He's not one guy.
He's not.
He's not one guy. He's setting up a whole thing
so
here.
You think Mitch McConnell?
See, Mitch McConnell doesn't even know his name. Here's what I think. Libertarians, slow down, because China. Slow down. Libertarians.
Okay, I'll ask you as a libertarian.
No,
Are you an NAP?
Excuse me. Libertarians.
Are you a non-aggressive?
Libertarian.
Are you non-aggressive PAC?
I'm trying to talk to you. You got to stop interrupting.
That's a true libertarian.
I'm not
a true libertarian. It's a non-aggression.
Libertarians like you are losers. You get nothing done.
I'm not a libertarian.
Oh my goodness, yes you are.
I'm not a libertarian.
You know, you are a libertarian.
I'm a true independent, brother.
I know, truly.
All
right, I appreciate the call. Libertarians are losers, and I'll tell you why libertarians are losers, okay? They have these standards that'll never be accomplished, okay? They'll never be accomplished. And because they'll never be accomplished, they're never going to happen. Libertarians are guys that think they're conservative, but they're conservatives that think they're superior to all conservatives, and they like to gripe and complain. So they set up these standards that are not workable, that'll never happen, and then they can sit around and complain their whole life and feel morally and ethically superior to everyone else. But there's one thing, Steve Kane told me this when I first started doing, a call-in talk show like this. He said, and I stand, and he is so right about this, libertarians are radio death. Radio death. A libertarian will destroy a show. Now, we have a couple lines open, and the reason we have a couple lines is because I was talking to a libertarian, and he cleared out some lines. Our number is 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. Call us on hold, stand by, we'll be right back. That's true. I'm not kidding. Radio death, libertarians. We'll be back shortly. Oh, if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be back shortly, guys. If you're on hold, hang in there. There's one opening on our board. We'll be back in just over 1 minute. Chat room's getting heated this morning. 30 seconds. Great calls today, by the way. Very good calls on this Open Phone Friday. Stand by. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. We have one opening on the board at 1-888-465-2631. It is Open Phones, Open Mega Mike Friday. Any and everything on your mind is fair game on Friday's show. All right, back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, morning, Brian. This is Richie. I want to talk about what you started your show. Your opening with the lawfare with these judges.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I didn't hear Ron DeSantis, but I always try to educate myself. I mean, I didn't go to college. I went to college for a brief amount of time, but I always try to educate myself. So I watch these lawyers that are podcasters. They have some super lawyers on YouTube. Believe me when I tell you that. And they talked about this. Can I name a name?
I guess. I'd rather you didn't, because I don't know who you're.
I won't name a name. I don't want. But this particular attorney, there's two ways that you can take a federal district. First of all, they're hired by a president, and they have to be confirmed by the Senate. So the Senate to impeach is impossible, because the Democrats will not go along with it, and I think you need 66% or 60-something%. So the Democrats will never go along with an impeachment. But we hold the keys to Congress right now. All it takes is a simple majority. All they have to do is fire them, dismiss them. There's a count in the.
What Ron DeSantis was talking about, he says that the Congress has the ability to take the judge's jurisdiction away from them. So they'd be a judge.
Yeah, they can fire them.
Yeah, they'd still may be a judge. They just wouldn't have any jurisdiction and have authority. It's different than impeachment, and that's an action they can take. And he's a lawyer. He seems to know. I think he knows what he's talking about.
Well, yeah, but what he's I know what he's saying, because that was another alternative. What he's saying is you take his power away, but you still pay him.
Correct.
In other words,
a judge in name only. A judge would name only.
But you literally can fire, but that's not the shock treatment, because that won't.
Well, you want to go through the path that's most likely to succeed and easiest to get done.
How about 51 senators Republican voting?
That'd sound good to me, and I'd be happy with a 50. That's unlikely.
It takes a fire.
That's unlikely to happen.
Well, it takes a.
Those are lawyers that are doing too much of that legal theater that they practice, the fake courtrooms when they're rehearsing. That's just firing judges like that probably isn't realistic, without a due process. But but that's the way it is. All right, Richie. I appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Dean from Martin County.
Hey, what's up, Dean?
Hey, good morning. Hey, man, that last libertarian, my God, the guy needs to take a breath.
Radio death, right? They bore the audience to death, libertarians.
Yeah,
they're the worst.
He wouldn't let you talk.
Well, that's okay.
He wouldn't let you.
That's okay. Now he's talking to himself.
Have a great day.
All right.
Good job, man.
All right, take care. They know good radio in Martin County. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Shawna out of California. Am I coming in clear for you today?
Yes.
Excellent. Hey, I want to give you a dealer's choice since it is your show. Would you want to talk about gasoline prices here in California, or about these judges and something going on with them?
Well, I'd rather talk about the judges than the gas, but it's up to you. It's open phones.
Well, I'll just say that I've been tracking the gas prices every day as I go to work, and they have dropped out here by at least 20 cents through February, then down a nickel and back up a nickel, then down a nickel again this week, which is kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
Judge-wise, though, let's get on the judge thing. I looked up something earlier because I was fooling around with Grok, and it referenced a court case. There's a court case called Stump versus Sparkman, very interesting names, but Stump versus Sparkman, 1978. Judges have immunity for their decisions, even bad ones, because otherwise it was believed that judges could be pressured into making decisions
Correct.
one way or another.
Correct.
Now, I don't like that case, and it's very terrible, but there are mechanisms for removing a judge. If a judge is corrupt, let this administration work it out, folks. The judges that are popping up and showing their activism, perfect. Let them volunteer themselves to be a thorn in Trump's side, so we know who needs to be removed lawfully down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Again, just like members of Congress that are bad, you vote them out, or you impeach them, or you use the mechanisms that are in place. Because a lot of folks, I know they want action, but only in fiction do you snap your infinity gauntlet and everything is solved overnight.
Mm-hmm.
And Brian, just keep up the good work. And that one pharmacist, if he was a pharmacist, no one would ever get their prescriptions on time.
Well, we'd all be dead.
So, I know.
Right?
So,
all right.
Have a good one,
all right,
friend.
take care. All right, take care. And by the way, who pretends to be a pharmacist of all things? That seems a little interesting. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Rob. Really, thanks for taking my call. This is Gary. Go fuck yourself.
Oh, there you go. All right, you got that mic. Oh, my. It didn't take too long to get that one to happen. Oh, my goodness. Well, we had to use the dump for the first time today, Mike. I tell you, these leftists. See, that's what winning will do. At least he knows he can't win an argument, right? And since he knows he can't win an argument, that's what he's got to do. Now, I want to tell you guys about Friendly Tire in Margate. Oh man, every car in my family is on the road on tires from Friendly Tire in Margate. I've been buying tires there for at least 15 years, maybe longer. If you're on hold, hang in there. We got to wait for the delay to re-engage. Probably won't take any calls until after the top of the hour. Even my daughter in California's cars are on the California roads with tires from Friendly Tire. And, this amazed me because my daughter's been out there for over 2 years, and we shipped her car to her on a flatbed truck. And before we shipped her car, I took her car over to Friendly Tire in Margate and put 4 brand new Firestone tires from Friendly Tire on her car. And when I was out there about, I guess, 2 months ago, a month and a half ago, I was really dreading having to buy her tires. I thought, well, she's been out there 2 years. She's been driving all over creation out there because she's new to California. I'm going to have to buy her new tires, and I don't want to know. I'm used to Friendly Tire prices, the lowest tires on prices anywhere in Florida. And, I go out to California. I can only imagine what tires cost. And to my shock and surprise, the tires do not need to be replaced. The Friendly Tire tires are, of course, high-quality tires, very good. She doesn't need new tires. She told me before I went out there she didn't need new tires, and I figured, let me look. I was in shock. But when she needs them, it might be cheaper for me to ship the car back to Florida, go to Friendly Tire and ship it back. But, Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire, he has tires as low as $70 a tire, brand new, out the door and on the road. Remember, Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to mount the tire, balance the tire, or even dispose of your old tires. He also does tire repairs. He has all the name brands you know and love. Like I'm a Firestone guy. I like Firestone, Bridgestone, Pirelli. He can get you tires on any type of vehicle. We have listeners that I see over there in Vets and Porsches and dump trucks. And I also see people in rust buckets too, because everybody needs tires. When I first found him, it was out of necessity because I had that four-wheel drive with the oversized tires on a Jeep Wrangler. And, on my wife's car, we've got run flats. If you've got a car with run flats, incredible deals on run flats. Give Friendly Tire in Margate a call. He'll give you a quote right over the phone, 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian Craig. Call us on hold. Stand by. This is where MAGA comes to talk. We'll take our break for the top and be right back. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be back in 2 minutes, guys. If you're on hold, hang in there. One minute, and we'll be back. I'm just reading some news during the break, some things I'm going to be talking about. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. This is most definitely where MAGA comes to talk. There's one opening on the board, and I'll go right to the phones after the break. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Every line on the board is lit. I'm going to go back to the phones. It is open phones on Friday. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. The other 4 days of the week, you have to talk about what we bring up. But on Friday, the show prep is up to you. And that's a mixed bag, as you can tell by some of the calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, don't hang up on me.
All right, there we go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Ben, I'm calling from Maine.
Hey, Maine, what's up?
I was just wondering about all this stuff with the. I can't even talk there. I got me on the spot here. Isn't President Trump immune from prosecution while he's doing his duty?
President Trump will never be immune from anything from these people.
don't they just pass that a while back with the Supreme Court said he was immune from anything he does during the the capacity of his job as the president?
No,
So
they're going to go after President Trump for the rest of his life.
yeah, but they got to stop it. That's what
No,
I'm saying. That can't work like that.
No, they're going to keep doing it.
How about
Look at what these judges
the
are doing
Supreme-
now. Look what they're doing now.
right? They're out of hand.
Look, they
I
tried to
understand
they
that.
tried to kill him twice. They shot him in Butler, and then they tried again at the golf course in Florida. They'll never stop.
Well, how are we going to stop them? It's got to be
There's
some
not
kind of way.
nothing can be done. These are sick people.
I almost can't believe that.
Yeah.
But I guess I got to. Hey, I'm a mega person, big time, but I just can't. This is really making me sick, actually, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. I get it. That's the way it is. All right, appreciate the call. They will never give up. Oh, there we go. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's Darren. I'm calling from Durham, North Carolina. How you been?
All right, Darren.
All right. You're actually from my old stomping ground. I didn't know you were down there in South Florida. That's great.
Oh, where in South Florida? Where in South Florida are you from?
Okay, so I lived in Pompano Beach from '78 to
Oh my gosh.
'89.
Oh my goodness,
And
you're old.
From that point, I moved to yes, a bit of an age on you probably. From that point, we went to Coral Springs and then over to Tamarack. And
I don't need the whole "this is your
Nice
life."
area.
Yeah, it is a nice area.
That's it. That's all I got.
You just wanted to tell me where you lived in South Florida? Okay, that's exciting. It is. Hey, it's open phones, man. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Sorry, I missed the whole show. My internet's not working. I don't know what's happening, but anyway, I wanted to call up to talk about John Roberts. Man, I don't get this guy. He just has to say something that has nothing to do with the case. Oh, you're supposed to not unseat the judge and try to get him out because you don't agree with him politically. No, the guy is good. This judge is going against President Trump unconstitutionally and doing things you're not supposed to be doing. So that's why you unseat the judge. You impeach him because he's not following what he's supposed to be doing. But he thinks, there's an appeal process. Yeah, well, the appeal process is for normal things, not if the guy is doing something illegally. That's, in my opinion, I think the guy's he's just an anti-Trumper, this Judge Roberts.
Judge Robert. A lot of people say he was compromised. He's just dirty. He's been dirty and corrupt. How do you think he got that Chief Justice spot? And he was young when he's been there for like 20 years, and he was young when he got the appointment by Bush.
Yeah, he's been around too long. I mean, it's a lifetime appointment, which I guess you have to have a lifetime appointment, but I don't see why you have to have a lifetime appointment thinking about it.
Because the Constitution says so. Because that's what the Constitution says.
Right, I know that's the kind of. But how come the Chief Justice is not a president and not Congress? The only justices.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to keep them not, so they're not influenced. Yeah. But the problem is they're all influenced. How do you think they get the appointments? They're connected. That's how they get the federal judge appointments.
Yeah, exactly. It just so happens that everybody that gets appointed that's by a Democrat is liberal and always wants to go along with what the Democrats say.
That's right.
Apparently, maybe they should be consider having a constitutional amendment to make them.
You don't want to start doing. You don't want to start changing the Constitution. Why would you change the Constitution? Yeah. It's worked well for over 200 years.
Well, but think about it. How would this country be in bad shape if the whole damn
Mark Levin has been talking for years about. By the way, thanks for the call about a constitutional convention. That's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. Okay. If you got together for a new constitutional convention of the states, could you imagine what the liberals would force through there? Your whole Bill of Rights would be gone, people. Don't you understand that? No, bad idea. You're on the air.
Good morning, Brian. It's Rebecca from Plantation.
Hey, Rebecca.
I'm sorry. I'm going to change the subject a little bit.
That's okay. It's open phones on Friday.
Yes, I know. Hunter Biden had this freaky video, thanks to Laura Loomer, who was having like a freak show on X. She's really going through a lot. I don't know if you've seen her post.
Of course.
She's feeling very disenfranchised by the, the mega group, I guess.
Well, no.
Anyway,
Finish about that. I'll tell you what's going on with Loomer. But what did she have? Is this the video of Hunter looking stoned?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, I don't think he ever was clean. But anyway, yeah, that was kind of freaky.
Well, the thing about, people that are addicts, like say they're hooked on coke, because they're doing like a prescription medication, smoking weed and drinking, they call that clean, right? They have different definitions of being clean. But so far as Loomer, okay, and you guys know I've been friends with Laura Loomer for many years. She's a good friend of mine, and I love Laura Loomer. But she's hated by Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's been working hard against her for a long time. And she got back into Trump's circle, and she flew with Trump on Trump Force One, and she sat next to him on the plane on the way to the debate with Kamala. And the people, a lot of people around Trump don't like Laura Loomer having that kind of access. And what was reported is that Loomer got President Trump into the eating cat story with the Haitians in Ohio, in Springfield, Ohio. He brought that up in the debate. And it was the only moment in the debate that he wasn't winning, right? And it made him a little bit of a mockery by Kamala and the press and everything. And the people that don't like Loomer, that are in Trump's circle, including Marjorie Taylor Greene, use that to get her out of the circle. She's out. She may make her way back in. President Trump likes her, but if that's true, and I've not talked to her about it because I don't, I could, but that's what I've heard from multiple people. And if she did get him worked up about the cat story and he brought it up, she made him look foolish in that debate for a brief moment. That's why she's out.
But they didn't give her any credit for the whole Secret Service disclosure that he's got. First of all, he's having some really fancy vacation in South Africa, right?
Hunter,
and then he has like 18.
Not anymore.
Secret Service
Trump
details.
took it.
Yeah, because of her. Yeah,
I know.
Because of her.
I know. No, Listen, President Trump still follows Loomer, okay, and he pays attention to her.
Okay.
But she's not any. She may make her way back in the White House, but there's too many people around Trump that don't like her, and that's just the way it is. I mean, listen, you got an inner circle of a club, and they don't like people in that club. But look at the problem. Look at what? Maybe I can what? Go ahead.
Maybe you can get her on the air. And let
I
her
could.
talk.
I listen. This is what I've told. I told Laura Loomer this. This is what I told Laura. I will never question any of her reporting ever. She was the first one that broke the story about DeSantis not being MAGA before we knew, right?
I remember.
And I didn't believe it. And when I found out it was true, I had her on the air and I said, Laura, I'll never question you again. So she's the best. She's always been good to me. All right. She's done things for me and helped me, and I'm always there to help her. But I don't want to get involved in a conflict between her and Trump's inner circle. And part of the thing is that I think Laura can do better work on the outside than she can on the inside.
Independently.
Yeah. And Trump obviously is still following her because he got rid of Hunter and Ashley Biden's Secret Service because of her reporting. So she's secretly influencing the president, okay? And I mean, the inner circle, look at Bannon's hatred towards Elon Musk, all jealousy. You a lot of times you don't want to be in that circle because it's like a king's court. and there's rivalries and jealousies and intrigue and doing others in so you have better access. It's not a fun place to be. And I think she can do more outside of the inner circle. She still is in the inner circle. It's just nobody knows it except us.
She just seems really hurt, very hurt.
Well, yeah, and the other thing about do you hear me griping that I'm not in the inner circle? There's no stronger supporter of President Trump than me. This the Steve Kane Show for over a decade has been dedicated to President Trump. You don't hear me whining that I'm not flying around on Air Force One. So what? Not that I wouldn't mind it if the president called, but you can't support President Trump and then feel he owes you. And they did some things. I'll tell you another thing with Laura that really this was insane. They got Milo to go out there and trash her. Milo Yiannopoulos. They got Milo to go out there and trash Loomer. Okay, I mean it's terrible. She's the best, but you can't feel that you're owed. There's a lot of people that don't. Come on.
Yeah, well, I was wondering exactly what it was that she was having such a hard time with. I mean, it seems kind of, in general. I mean, I wonder.
Well, I would tell you what part of it would be. I'll tell you what part of it would be. Okay, and I'll tell you this because maybe you guys can help her. Maybe I shouldn't even share this, but she's not with an organization, right? So she doesn't have somebody. She doesn't have income. Right? She's not with Turning Point like a lot of people. Like there's a lot of people out there that they're with organizations. A lot of the conservative influencers, you don't know it, but they're with big organizations, whether it's Breitbart or Turning Point or The Blaze, and there's a bunch of others, the Daily Wire, and you just don't know it. She has no organization, okay? And she doesn't have income. So that makes things tough because you still got to live. And she's the best investigative reporter out there. And all of her reporting is 1,000% accurate. I've never known her to be incorrect, even in the slightest. Okay? And anything that Laura Loomer reports, you can take to the bank. But she doesn't have an organization or an outlet behind her. And and she's been banned from everything. I mean, she can't even take an Uber. She's been banned from Uber. She's been banned from DoorDash. She can't even eat. She can't order food on DoorDash. And so she's been canceled by everyone. And these organizations like InfoWars and all these groups, she doesn't have that behind her to pay her bills. And that causes frustration. And I understand that.
Now I understand. Yeah, now that makes sense.
So if she talks about any ways that she can be helped, help her. I mean, if you support her, so I understand that. Me, I mean, I've been doing this so long. This is what I do for a living, and I have, and I always will, but she doesn't have that. And that's sad. If the Daily Wire or the
she's so good. I mean, she has such balls.
But
she's really good.
But what happens is, if any of these organizations hire her, boom, the forces that don't like her go after her. I just, I feel bad for her, but what are you going to do? That's it. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you gave a little bit of an insight on it. I knew you would have some information.
I mean, I'm not. I mean, these are. I'm not revealing any confidences that I have with Loomer. I'm just telling you what I.
Makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Take care. Appreciate the call. All right. So Open Phone Friday has so far so good. We'll take our first break of the second hour and be right back. If you're on hold, hang in there. 1 minute, we'll be back. 1 minute, guys, we'll be back. If you're on hold, hang in there. One opening on the board. If you want to call in, the toll-free number is pinned in the live chat. Thirty seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back to our open phones on this Friday. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
John, I'm in Northern California.
Hey, John. What's up?
We're at a point in time. We're at a point in time where the entire Department of Justice is in the process of removing our rights. We're in a conspiracy against rights.
Okay, slow down. I got to get some questions about this. You mean to tell me that the Trump Justice Department, with Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, and Kash Patel, are taking away our rights?
No. I'm for Trump.
But
Sheldon Adelson while he was alive.
But the Justice Department, but the Justice Department's Trump now. So you're saying, so what? How can you say that?
It's not Trump now. No, it is not. We have mass incarceration, and we have criminal abuse of all of our people.
Who are you talking about? What do you mean mass?
What am I talking about?
What do you mean mass incarceration?
We have mass incarceration across our country.
Yeah, well, there's people in prison. Who's in prison that shouldn't be in mass?
One in 100 people are involved in some sort of legal problem that shouldn't be. The Second Amendment has been diluted. Completely and unlawfully so.
Okay, but who's in prison? Who are these people that are in prison in mass that shouldn't be in prison?
All sorts of people.
Do you know anyone in particular? Or?
Yes, I know many.
Who?
Give anyone with a simple firearm charge.
Well, if you got a federal gun, what did they do with the gun? What was the charge?
Well, actually, take a look at the Second Amendment.
I don't need to look at the Second Amendment. You say you know someone who's in jail that shouldn't be on a weapons charge. What did they do?
They had guns.
Where?
In their vehicle.
Where?
In their vehicle.
Where was the vehicle? And what kind of guns?
Their guns. I'm not sure which guns they had.
Well, if you think that they're in jail, well, maybe if you think they're imprisoned illegally, shouldn't you know what they did, what they're convicted of, and what they had? It doesn't sound like you know. All right, take care. Oh, my goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air.
Hello?
Yes?
Hello there. Are you a Trump supporter?
Absolutely. Proudly.
Okay, it's the first time I've called, so I'm not sure about the format. Am I coming in clear?
Yeah. What's on your mind? What's your beef with our great president?
Well, my beef isn't so much with Trump, so much as it is his absolutely debased, sycophantic supporters that will go to any length to defend whatever Trump does. Well, he could literally rape somebody. Like, if Trump raped your daughter, you'd defend it.
Well, give me an example of something he actually did do that we're defending that we shouldn't be defending, as opposed to bizarre scenarios.
Trying to steal the election would be.
He just won. He just won the election, and he was cleared. He was cleared of any wrong doing by the January 6th committee and even the FBI under the Biden Justice Department. So give me something that he's doing now that Trump supporters are supporting that we shouldn't be supporting because we're sycophants.
No.
No.
I apologize. I wasn't accurate. I meant the not this last election. He obviously
He was cleared of any wrongdoing involving.
I mean the.
I know what you mean. Yeah, he was cleared of any wrongdoing there. What is he doing now that you think we only support because we're psychotic sycophants?
So, like the false slate of electors, for example.
No, I'm talking about today. I'm talking about today.
Today?
Yes.
What has he done today? I don't know what he has done.
Well, then, if you don't know what he's done, I don't mean like this moment today. What are you literal? I don't listen. This is a show.
You asked me what he did today.
This is a show where we talk about the news. You're back in time like 5-6 years. What is he doing now that we shouldn't be supporting?
Like what time frame? The last month?
In his second term. I'll give you the whole second term.
The whole second term. Okay. Bringing in Elon Musk to just go through all of our government departments and cut whatever he wants would be a great example.
Well, first off, Elon Musk, what's wrong with what Elon Musk is? What has he uncovered that's been cut by the president that should not have been cut?
Well, for example, there have been veterans that have been fired. The whole Department of Education.
Slow down. Okay, slow down. Veterans that have been fired.
Don't cut me off.
I will do what I want to do. Excuse me. I will cut you. Listen, I will do what I want to do. Excuse me. Slow down. Slow down. You say veterans have been fired. What does that mean? What does that mean? Veterans have been fired, you said. What does that mean?
Yeah, they're going through and firing a bunch of people without proper justification.
So I'm a little confused by this, because you mean to tell me that if someone employs someone who's a veteran, that they have complete immunity? They can do, Lee Harvey Oswald was a veteran. I mean, if somebody's a veteran, if someone's a veteran, they can never be fired. They have immunity for what does that mean?
Well, it's really hard to get a word out edgewise, but it's not just that they're veterans. It's because they have served our country previously and shouldn't be fired without a justifiable reason.
Oh no, they're
reason they're going.
Well, it's not
up. Get cut off every sentence. Go ahead.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is a radio program, and I can't go through your list of bizarreness.
Oh, it's YouTube radio. Okay.
No, we're on a bunch of FM radio stations and Morning Drive.
Yeah, I'm sure.
No, I am. Look me up. My name's Brian Craig. I'm very well known. Google me and you'll see. Okay. Yeah. Do it now. I'm going to hang up on you. After I hang up on you, you can Google me, Brian Craig.
You're going to hang up on me because you can't defend your viewpoint.
No, I can. I can. This is the deal with. Okay. This is the deal with the government agencies.
You seem shaken.
Who seems shaken?
Brian, what's your last name?
Craig, Craig. Brian Craig. Look me up. He's looking me up right now. I'm going to let you go because I'm up against a break. Yes, I know. Yes, that's right. Yeah, everything I said is true. The people that have been laid off, many of them are people that have not been showing up to work. Their jobs are not necessary. There's a whole bunch of things. This idea, because someone is a United States veteran, that they have complete immunity and can be, and they're entitled to be employed forever, even if they don't come to work for 5 years, or their job is not necessary, or they do something inappropriate, is insane. All right, listen, if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll take our bottom of the hour break and be right back. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Good calls today though, I must say. Very good calls today. I do enjoy being challenged. I took that break 2-3 minutes late talking to that guy. Okay. Back in a couple minutes, guys. No, I enjoyed people giving me grief. That's fine. Yeah, I love this talking point that veterans are entitled to be employed forever, even if they don't come to work for 5 years. Isn't that amazing? And I haven't seen veterans on television from the federal government that were fired or laid off showing reasons why they should not have been. Have you? No, Medicaid's not being cut. Back in 2 minutes. President Trump's a veteran. He served 4 years previously as Commander-in-Chief of our armed forces, and he's in his second tour. We'll be back in about 90 seconds. What comes up if you Google me? I don't even know. Let me look. I told the guy to Google me. Well, there's another Brian Craig, too, the gay actor from General Hospital. But there I am, right there. The gay actor from General Hospital that's named Brian Craig, he's from the same part of Florida that I live in, so it messes up my Google results a lot, but, you know. "30 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Callers on hold, stand by. The Open MAGA Mic Open Phone Friday has been going very well so far. Great calls today. A week from Sunday, we leave on our 6th annual listener cruise, Steve Kane and I am packing over the weekend. And yesterday, I got a call from Coastal Weight Loss Secret. They were checking in to see how my weight loss journey was going, and of course, they know that I've surpassed my goal of losing 25 pounds. And they said, well, do you want to just maintain where you're at, or do you want to continue to lose weight? And I said, well, I want to continue to lose weight, but I've got the cruise coming up. And if I lose any more weight, my suits and things aren't going to fit me. And I don't have time to go out and get new suits and all that. And so I want to maintain. And then when I get back from the cruise, we're gone the first week of April. When I get back from the cruise, I want to get back on. So they actually, when I was talking to Coastal Weight Loss Secret yesterday, they told me what to do to maintain where I'm at weight-wise, even during the cruise. And it was very great information because you have a coach when you're with Coastal Weight Loss Secret that coaches you through the entire process. And I lost over 25 pounds in less than a month without any exercise. I'm not on any prescription medications. The only thing I run is my mouth, okay? That's it. Now, I may burn some calories with my mouth, but I'm not doing any exercise, no working out, no walking, no steps, and I'm eating food I would normally eat that I enjoy. Give Coastal Weight Loss Secret a call. Now, I just wanted to lose 25 pounds, but if you want to lose 40, 50, 100, or maybe just 20 pounds, they can help you too. Here's their number, and when you call, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the True Oldies channel, all right? 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightloss.secret.com. All right, back to the phones we go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is Lucas from Fort Lauderdale. How are you doing today?
All right, Fort Lauderdale. What's up?
Yeah, I was thinking, I think Pam Bondi's doing a lot of good work, and I think she's, really hitting the ground running. And I do want to apologize for coming in your mouth last night.
Oh, isn't that nice? You hear that, Mike? Again, boom. That was nice. It figures a guy who would say such a thing is in Fort Lauderdale. Oh, my goodness. If you're on hold, stand by. We got to wait for the delay to re-engage. Do you know that guy held on for 32 minutes on hold? He was on hold for 32 minutes just for that. Wow. Wow, that's a long time. That's a long time. 1-888-465-2631. How many times will we use the dump button today, Mike? That, every once in a while we have to prove to you that the calls are truly unvetted, screenless, live on the air. And, when people call in, no one answers the phone. We could do that, but we don't. I see the line ringing. I've got the phone in front of me. I just put the callers on hold and take them live on the air. While we're waiting for the delay to re-engage, I want to share this. I mentioned this in the first hour, but this is an important thing. Not a lot of news coverage on this. You know that Delta flight that crashed in Toronto a while back and flipped over? Oh, okay. So we've only used the dump button twice today. All right. That's not even close to the record. I mean, Not only is this the longest running radio show in the state of Florida, this program has had to use the dump button even more than Howard Stern. We hold the record for that. But now the NTSB has released their preliminary findings on that Delta crash. And according to the NTSB, it is definitely DEI, didn't earn it. The National Transportation Safety Board's preliminary report released yesterday points to a critical error by the female first officer piloting the plane. This is from the preliminary NTSB report on that Toronto Delta crash. At 150 feet above the runway, the lady co-pilot abruptly cut the throttle and never readjusted, causing the plane to slam into the ground with such force that the right landing gear buckled, and that's what resulted in the plane flying over it. Now, I got to tell you something. There is no one who would tell me that if they got on an airplane and on the side of that airplane, it said, this aircraft is proudly flown by a DEI hire pilot, that anyone would get on that plane. No one would get on a plane if they were told that it was being flown or even co-piloted by a DEI pilot. No one. And as much news as that crash got, this came out yesterday afternoon. I saw this, the preliminary report. Have you seen it on television? And you know what? You're not. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Dave from Detroit.
Hey, Dave.
And I have a question. That caller just a little bit ago that mentioned something about your last night's adventure. You didn't deny it, so must be true.
Oh, okay. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Richard from Pompano.
Hey, Richard.
Okay, I was so happy when I watched on television those prisoners being lined up, getting off the plane, and then bent over, then they're shaving the hair off them, and they're finally in
Oh, you're talking
prison.
about the Venezuelan gang members in the El Salvadorian prison.
Exactly, and it was such a victory against evil, and I just was thrilled watching it. It was great. I was saying, I can't wait for the next one to get these scumbags going. And now these judges are trying to stop Trump, and I'm wondering, can Trump defy somehow in such a way that he won't be impeached, I guess? Is there a way he can get out of this?
Get out of what specifically?
Being prevented from putting these prisoners in boatloads or plane loads in anywhere, Guantanamo, anywhere he wants to put them.
He seems to be doing it. He's doing it. They haven't stopped at all.
No, there's a judge that made an injunction.
They're not listening to the judge. They're not listening to the judge. They're still rounding people up and deporting. You can't stop the judges from issuing things, right? But they're not obeying them.
I just thought, from what I watch on the news, that Trump's waiting for the result of this injunction.
They're still doing it. Nothing has slowed down. No, nothing has slowed it down.
That is good news.
That is very good news. I know the news wants you to think that. Oh, man. All right. If you're on hold, hang in there. I want to tell you guys about Dr. Appleton and his laser wave pain treatment. It's amazing. I think so often, what would my life be like if I never met Dr. Appleton? He's rid me of pain 7 times. And the pains that he's rid me of were just terrible pains, from my shoulder injuries, my knee pain, my arthritis in my finger. It's amazing. I guess I would either be hobbling, sitting in a chair in massive pain, or I'd be a junkie, because the pains I had were bad, and they're all gone. All 7 times that Dr. Appleton treated me, he rid me of pain each and every time. Give him a call and say bye-bye to your pain, too. With the laser wave pain treatment, there's no medications, no shots, no injections. It's completely painless, and no appointment is necessary. Walk-ins are welcome with Dr. Appleton, even on Saturdays, because Dr. Appleton knows when you're in pain, you need help, you need relief now. Give him a call and say bye-bye to your pain, too. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back. Hey, Barry, hold on. We'll be back in 1 minute. Okay. Thirty seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. It's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How are you today?
Great, great. What do you have for us this morning?
Well, this morning I want to talk about it's so important for most people to not just have an estate plan, but to make sure that they have their long-term care issues handled. Because if you don't, and you or your spouse need care, you could end up spending down your assets or significantly reducing them. And one of the things that none of us want is to run out of money during our life. People have a fear of living in a cardboard box under a bridge, something severe like that. And the thing is, you don't have to spend down your assets. In fact, at the Siegel Law Group, we want to make sure that you have an estate plan that works. It's going to protect you from probate, guardianship, protect your beneficiary's inheritance. Make sure you don't run out of money before you run out of life with the long-term care component, with the elder law, with the Medicaid planning, which is something that is going to help most people. Most people can qualify, and there's just so many myths around the idea of qualifying for Medicaid that either people think they can't get it or people think the government's going to take their assets, that they're going to live in some kind of horrible place if they ever have to go to a facility, and none of those are true. So we really want to make sure that clients have a plan that's going to work, that's going to protect them during their lifetime from the cost of long-term care and protect their loved ones in the future. That's what we do.
And a couple of weeks back when I went to your workshop in Boca, and you went over the Medicaid planning, I came up to you after. I said, unless your name's Trump or Kennedy, pretty much almost everyone qualifies for this. And so many people, I'm sure you encounter this a lot, Barry, but I've known so many people, mom or grandma or grandpa, they burn through everything, including selling their home, and then they're destitute. And it doesn't have to be that way. And this Medicaid covers both at-home and nursing home care as well. So listen, give the Siegel Law Group a call. And remember, it's always a no-charge consultation with the Siegel Law Group. If you mention you heard Attorney Barry Siegel on the program, and the Siegel Law Group can help you no matter where you are in the state of Florida. The number is toll-free, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. And online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, have a great weekend. We'll talk next week.
You too, Brian. Thank you.
All right, take care. All right, call us on hold, stand by. There's one opening where Attorney Barry Siegel was at. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once, twice.
Hello?
You're on the air.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
All right. What's on your mind?
I just wanted to come in and talk about all the crazy stuff that's been happening.
You got to get off the speakerphone. You got to get off the speakerphone. I can't hear you very well. I'll put you on hold. You can figure that out. No, maybe I'll get back to you. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Dustin from New Orleans.
Hey, New Orleans. What's up?
Nothing much. Just I talked to you. I've been watching your show for like 2 weeks. I'm just learning how the show works. I know it's Freaky Friday. You can talk about anything. So I have a question.
As long as it doesn't involve profanity and such,
No, I won't do that. I would never do that. All right. My question is, do you believe that kids between the age of 18 and 24 should have a mandatory 1-year stint in the Army, military, Navy, or Air Force, or whatever?
No. Nope.
America?
Nope.
If they're not in some kind of college program?
Nope. Mandatory military service, no.
I thought that might be a good thing.
Well, it may be for some people, but not everyone. First off, look at just based on the population today. You want every young person between 18 and 24 in our society to be in the military? Oh my goodness. No, let me tell you why. Let me tell you why I say that, okay?
Be too big of a military.
No, let me tell you why I say that. No, I'll tell you why I say it. For a couple reasons, okay? One, this is a free country, okay? So I don't want to press anyone into service. In fact, pressing people into service is one of the, things that the War of 1812 was about. I don't want to press people into service, but a lot of studies were done in the Vietnam War, and the draft caused a lot of problems with military readiness. When people are forced in the military service, it's just not the same quality of military member. So no, it's bad all around, and it's just not the American way. Okay. Now, if there was a national emergency, a draft, I would support a draft in an emergency, but no,
Right.
no.
I just wanted to know your beliefs on that.
Okay, well, now you know. All right, take care. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Max from Colorado.
Hey, Colorado, what's on your mind?
Hey, I want to talk about these district judges that are just anti-American, like scumbags. I mean, I hope that Trump just ignores that guy that tried to stop the flight midair.
He is.
He just doesn't even give him the time of day.
He is ignoring them.
I mean, it's hilarious because you're like, I want my response. Guess what? Ignore you.
Well, just because they make a ruling doesn't mean they have authority. Let me give you an example. The president has the authority to pardon people, right? He can pardon criminals, but he can only pardon criminals who have federal convictions. He can't, he can't pardon people that are convicted on local or state crimes, only federal convictions. But that doesn't mean that he couldn't sign a pardon for someone, but it means nothing, right? You understand what I'm saying? He couldn't get somebody out of county lockup. So just because a judge issues some edict, doesn't mean that it's legal. We're not run by judges.
They don't have authority.
Correct.
They have no authority over him.
Correct.
And another thing I wanted to talk about is why would anybody in their right mind want to not get rid of these criminals? I mean, this looks so bad for them.
Well, it's easy. They hate Trump so much they can't see the truth, right? They hate Trump. I want you to think about this. They hate Trump so much, they want murderers and rapists to stay in our country, and they're supporting the firebombing of car dealerships because they're Tesla dealers.
Yeah, it's sick how they're attacking the Tesla stores. I hope they go after them federally. These guys are going to get mandatory 20-year sentences. This is going to be great. They'll teach these guys a lesson or two.
They did some arrest on, I think, 3 of the people that were attacking Tesla. Here's the thing.
A lot of lunatics in Colorado.
Here's the thing. These attacks on Tesla, I believe, are organized at a national level. I don't think these are lone lunatics that are going out and doing this. It's too high risk of a crime.
Well, they're going to get federal time, hopefully, and I hope that Trump cuts off all federal funding for this state, because this governor is he's as bad as Newsom. He just doesn't get the PR like.
Oh, you're in Colorado, yeah.
Oh yeah, Polis is terrible. He's terrible. He's trying to be worse than Newsom.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. Take care, man. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. All this talk about the stock market and all this stuff, I don't worry about that stuff. I really don't. And if you give Jupiter Joe Thomas a call, you get involved in annuities, you won't care either. With an annuity, no matter what happens in the stock market, your money's safe. You're not going to lose 10 cents, 1 cent, nothing. And you're guaranteed income for the rest of your life. Now, Joe Thomas offers free phone consultations, which you can take advantage of no matter where you are in the United States. I'm going to give you his number in just a moment. But you're not risking your retirement. You're not risking your savings. You're not risking your hard-earned money. It is really, annuities are a no-risk retirement plan. That's the kind of thing I like. No-risk retirement plan. There's no risk from losses in the stock market. There's no risk of outliving your money. And you're guaranteed income for life. That's amazing. When you call, ask him about the bonus on your money on day 1 with an annuity. and how you could turn your money into guaranteed income for life. You know, a couple weeks ago, Joe Thomas was in studio with me, and I said, what's the difference when you have a consultation with someone who is a working person or retired with very small amount of savings, as opposed to someone who's a high net worth earner when they get in are interested in annuities? He said it's the same thing. Income. They want their money to be safe, and they want income. Everyone, no matter their income level, would like another income stream and their retirement. That's right. So give them a call. Take advantage of this no charge consultation. And when you talk to Joe, he'll put together a custom proposal just for you based on your situation, your goals. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. That's 561-743-0999. And if you missed the number, you can get it off his website, jupiterjoe.com. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yes. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going this morning?
All right.
Hey, go fuck yourself.
Oh, there you go. There you go. There's the third time, Mike. There we go. Let's end the hour on a high note. I like the build-up that he did for that. That was nice. That was a nice build-up. He had to get, he wanted to make sure I could hear him, and then he did it. Yes. Oh, man. Don't you guys love Open Manga Mike Friday? Okay, we'll be back with the third and final hour of the week. Oh, by the way, those of you going on our cruise, have you checked in yet? I'll talk more about that later, okay? Because I got to remind you guys on the last day of the week to call in and do that. There's all kinds of reasons, but I don't have time to tell you any of them right now. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll take our break for the top and be right back. Oh, my goodness. Hey, it's Brian. Okay, I'm going to put you on hold. We're going to be back in about 2 minutes. All right, stand by. Just over a minute, we'll be back, guys. Oh, man. Welcome back. The third hour has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. And on the line, we have Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. Hey, Scott.
Yeah, hey, Brian. And we also have Jeffrey Mullen, who's a customer that we did his house for him last Sunday afternoon and took advantage of the great savings. And I guess he just wants to tell you guys about the experience and how he could notice how the attic changed right away. And so, you know, you could feel the difference immediately.
All right. I'm excited to hear that.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Jeff. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
All right. So tell us about the radiant barrier.
Well, so last week I heard Scott on the radio here. I was driving to work, and I just decided, hey, I need something with my attic because we got a baby in the bedroom that faces the west side of the house. It never cools off. And I gave him a text after he put the phone number over the radio, and he got back to me right away. Gave me some numbers over the phone, even worked with me on scheduling, and came out within 4 days. I got with the guys. They told me what they were going to do, how they were doing it. Went up in the attic with them, and I could feel the difference halfway they were through. I already felt the difference.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, the attic... Yeah, go ahead, Scott.
It's also a two-story home, so it's always been a little hotter up there than it is downstairs, and I believe we've alleviated that problem, and that should carry you through the summer, because I know in the summer in those 2 stories it gets brutal.
And then the attic really is like a sauna. I mean, you know, you go into an attic for just a few seconds and you're soaking wet like you were in a swimming pool. That's how hot. How hot does it get in an attic without radiant barrier, Scott?
Up to, I've seen it as high as 160 degrees. Like these people that put these black asphalt shingle roofs on and these black metal roofs. The darker the roof is, the higher your electric bill is going to be, and the more you're going to need me.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
That's true. Now, listen, I want to thank Jeff. He's one of our listeners who took advantage of the incredible deals. Now, can you tell people quickly, Scott? There's some incredible deals going on for the month of March if people call you for the radiant barrier. Can you talk about those?
Yeah. Basically, I gave Jeff the barrier at $1 per square foot, and that's a savings of 39 cents. And then I gave him the insulation for $1 a square foot. That's a savings of 19 cents. And our material costs have like almost tripled in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
To do it cheap like that now, it's just because we're so efficient. I mean, we were literally done in 3-4 hours, Jeff.
Yeah, and when you started explaining to me about the tax credit for the energy, it was to do it.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, listen, guys, do what Jeff did. Give Scott at Cut My Kilowatts a call or a text, okay? This number rings directly to Scott's cell phone number, 954-939-1500, 954-939-1500. All right, Scott, we'll talk to you next week. And, Jeff, thanks so much for calling in.
Thank you so much, Jeff. It was a pleasure doing the work for you, and I really appreciate the call-in.
All right.
Oh, thank you.
All right, take care. All right, now if you're on hold, guys, hang in there. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. I'm Brian Craig. This is The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Today is Friday. It is Open Phones on Friday's show. We call it Open Mega Mike Friday. Any and everything on your mind is fair game on Friday's show. The show prep is up to you all. All right, let's go back to our phones, which have been interesting today. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Chris from Pompano Beach.
Oh, hey, Chris.
Yeah, great show. I mean, my goodness, you could carry on with this show till 5 o'clock today with so much substance, especially the first 15 minutes. But no, I just wanted to say that, getting back to the judges, I remember as clear as we're talking that when the Chief Justice Roberts was installed, I didn't know it worked like that if you're replacing the Chief Justice, you take that seat, even though he was young coming in. And I thought that the next senior Chief Justice would step in.
No, it's a specific nomination, not just for a justice, for Chief Justice. Yeah. He was nominated not to be a justice, but to be Chief Justice. Yeah.
Exactly. And and I didn't want him in there. And not that I knew at the time that, Bush was duped, but we see what we got from this guy. I mean, even before he caved on the tax thing for the whatever government.
Well, let me tell people what you're talking about, because I opened the show with this 2 hours ago at 6. It came out yesterday that Chief Justice John Roberts leads a secret group of federal judges, many of them radical liberals. Some of them are the ones that are issuing all these orders and things against Trump's deportations. And it's really like a secret coup insurrectionist government organization, like a star chamber of judges. It's very bizarre. This story just broke yesterday, and the fact that I've not seen it on any mainstream news, it really tells you what's going on here. They haven't, and remember, Roberts came out defending one of those corrupt judges the day before yesterday. This is huge. This is an insurrection against the President of the United States.
Absolutely, and everyone really needs to wake up, because I remember when Sotomayor had an honest moment when she mentioned her wise Latina comment, her racist comment, and then said that she can see legislating from the bench. Now, this has been going on since, and clearly, this is a mindset of them to take over. Like you said, equal balance. No, there's checks and balances, not equal. And for these people to just want to derail President Trump in this way, I mean, they've tried everything.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like this. And I know people have strategically chosen a side, so the bias is going to be there one way or the other, depending on what your agenda is. But this legislating from the bench and all this bias and this, it's kind of...
Well, Pam Bondi's on the job. I'm not concerned about it at all. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. I'm not concerned about it. Things are going according to plan. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right, you didn't make it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Good morning.
Yeah, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Rod from Coconut Creek.
All right, Coconut Creek.
Listen, I just wanted to say one thing. I think that the United States is on the verge of a renaissance. I think in the next year we're going to start to see things just start going crazy here with construction and manufacturing, and
absolutely.
People need to have I really do. I really believe that. I also believe that Bitcoin, although I don't know that much about it, but I think that Bitcoin is going to go through the roof.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway, listen, thanks for what you do. Just wanted to give you a good morning. And
well, I appreciate the call. All right, from Coconut Creek. You take care. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, this is Steve from Staten Island.
Steve from Staten Island. Speak up.
Yes. Well, the thing is that I'm listening to these people. I just can't understand why these judges. I mean, they're supposed to be about protecting people.
Because the people that are federal judges. I got a bad connection, but I could hear what you said. The federal judges, to get a federal judgeship, you've got to be connected politically, because they're political appointments by presidents of the United States. So these are people that are very politically active before they become judges, and they carry on their activism as judges. That's why.
Yeah. I mean, don't they see Hillary?
Hey, listen, I've got a really bad connection. You sound like you're calling me from that Staten Island ferry, but call another time with a better connection. You sound like a very good caller I'd like to talk to, but I can't really hear you very well. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, can turn down the volume in the background of whatever device you're listening to me on, please.
Yeah, I'm doing that right now. I'm listening to you on a couple of devices.
Oh, that's great.
Can you hear me now? Good.
I can hear you fine. What's on your mind?
What's on my mind is the business with the judges trying to turn the planes around and bring people back who are considered foreign terrorists. It harkens back not directly, absolutely directly, but somewhat to after 9/11 when the big debate, and a lot of people probably have forgotten it, is that combatants, whether they be Taliban or Al-Qaeda, were to be before military tribunals or city judges in New York. Wait a minute. And, we can't have Gitmo. We must close it down. And then Obama freeing Taliban chieftains who went back to the battlefield and did horrendous stuff.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out the mindset.
Well, slow down, because you remember 9/11. If you think hard, you'll remember this. Now, this stopped soon, but in the first week or two after 9/11, many high-profile Democrats, President Clinton, the Governor Cuomo, the father, Mario Cuomo, and many other high-profile Democrats were on television saying, "What did we do to cause them to knock down these buildings?" Remember that? And they were blaming us for doing it. And that stopped after about a week because the blowback was so heavy. So the Democrats are the hate America first crowd. And they side with America's enemies always, whether it's the Al-Qaeda terrorist after 9/11 or the Trinidad Day Aquafina gangsters that are over here raping and murdering our women.
Yeah, and so I'm wondering, what is the mindset? Because nobody, sided with the Japanese or the Germans or the Italians, and I guess there was some of that during the Vietnam era. I saw with my own eyes.
Because listen, what happened is, Vietnam changed everything. It turned Democrats into radicals. Okay, and this hate America first thing took off. There was always a fringe of it, but it took off as mainstream among Democrats during the Vietnam protest era. And it just changed everything. The Vietnam War was one of the most destructive events in this country because how it changed the mindset of the American Democrats. Democrats were always wrong, but at least they were pro-American until after they killed Kennedy. And that's when it changed. They became anti-American and very passionate about it after Kennedy was killed by the CIA, we're learning from these new files.
Hey, LBJ, how many kids have you killed today? While they wave North Vietnamese and Viet Cong flags. I saw it with my own eyes and heard it.
That's correct. That's right. Now they pretend to respect veterans, but they would go up to veterans and say, how many kids did you kill today? If they saw somebody, if a liberal in the 60s and 70s was at an airport and they saw a soldier in the terminal, they'd say, how many kids did you kill today? That's, from that slogan. Liberals hate America. And their party has been infiltrated by a lot of Muslims. Ilhan Omar, Tlaib, Obama. And there's been, when Obama became president, there was this mass move inside the Democrat Party. They got a lot of Islamic people in the party, and they don't see the world the way we do. That's part of the problem, too. Hey, listen, I got to run. I appreciate the call, though. Great call. If you're on hold, hang in there. I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. When I live stream on YouTube when I'm on the air, guys. You guys know that. And I'm looking at myself right now in the camera. I can see myself. I don't look at myself too much, but I can see myself now. And where I'm really seeing the weight loss is in my neck. my neck is smaller and so much thinner. I just realized that. I'm on the camera every day, but the microphone's in front of my mouth, and I stepped to the side a minute ago, and I saw my neck. My neck is, I don't know how many inches it was before and what it is now, but my neck is a lot smaller than it was just a couple weeks ago. So I want to thank Dr. Zuckerman over at Coastal Weight Loss Secret. I'm just noticing this on my neck. That is amazing. You guys that watch on YouTube, I'm sure you notice. If you watch me every day, it's been like this transformation in the last few weeks, but that is really cool. Wow. And I've noticed my chin too. My face is thinned out, and I look good, guys. Let's just say I look good, and my neck. I have not realized how much weight I lost in my neck. It's the first time I'm noticing, because when I do it, I lost the weight in my stomach and in my waist, which is where I really wanted to lose the weight. And that was my goal, and I did. And now I'm looking at my neck and my chin and my face. This is amazing. Well, listen, I just wanted to lose 25 pounds, and I did that and a little bit more. But call Coastal Weight Loss Secret if you want to lose 20 pounds, 15 pounds, 40 pounds, 50 pounds, 100, 150. They can help you too, okay? Give Coastal Weight Loss Secret a call. When you call, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the True Oldies channel. Here's their number, 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlosssecret.com. Call us on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. We'll be right back. I want to play, I haven't got a chance to do it yet, but I got to play this audio from John Cusack. What a lunatic. Welcome. If you're new, welcome, welcome, welcome. And new subscriber, welcome. We'll be back in a couple minutes, guys. Got a busy, busy day. I have to go to Miami today with my wife. My wife has a doctor's appointment in Miami today. I hate going to Miami. We should have roads in Miami as nice as they have in Ukraine. They're the worst. The Philippines, welcome. So many good Christians in the Philippines. I just watched a couple months ago that an incredible documentary on that Japanese soldier that didn't know World War II ended for like 20 years, and he was in the Philippines. It was fascinating. I cannot remember his name. Back in just over a minute. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Calls on hold, stand by. I was talking during the break. I'm going to Miami today. My wife has a doctor's appointment with a specialist in Miami, and I hate driving to Miami. The roads in Miami are the worst. The worst. You know, and every time I go to Miami, you know what I think about? Ukraine. I bet you the roads in Ukraine are better than the roads in Miami. I-95 in Miami, forget about it. And it's dangerous. You know, when you drive on I-95 in Miami, my wife and I, a couple things that happened to us down there, okay? This happened not that long ago. We get just south of the Golden Glades, which is a mess. I know they're rebuilding that, but, you know, we get just south of the Golden Glades, and this car speeds right into in front of us, and behind him's a cop. And I told my wife, I said, oh, this is going to be exciting. We're going to see a police chase, but it's a parking lot just south of the Golden Glades. And this driver did something I couldn't believe. He got away from the cop just south of the Golden Glades on I-95. I couldn't believe it. He was like it was like Baby Driver, professional driver. It's very dangerous. And then a couple years ago, my wife and I were driving southbound, and we're coming up, we're a little bit north of 395, southbound 95 in Miami, and I hear gunshots. Now, and I'm in the far left lane, so I took the car and I got all the way over to the swale. My wife said, I said, those are gunshots, multiple gunshots. And she's like, it didn't sound like gunshots. You know, gunshots sound different out in the open. I said, no, those are gunshots. And sure enough, I saw on WSVN, that's the Miami news station, where their motto is, if it bleeds, it leads. I saw on WSVN there were gangbangers in two cars having a shootout on 95. I hate going to Miami. It's safer to take the Bright Line, but, you know, the Bright Line station's a little out of the way to where we got to go. All right, let's go back to our phones on this Open Phone Friday. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Yeah, you're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Craig. My name's Cody. I'm calling from Boston.
All right, Boston, what's up?
Hey, I just had a couple questions. I know that we're waiting on these Epstein files, and we got the JFK files. Do you think there'll be any actual arrests made or anything like that?
Well, the people from JFK are probably dead, and if they're not dead, they got to be 110.
Yeah, right.
You know, and Epstein, no. See, the Epstein files, there's not anything in the Epstein files, I don't think. There could be. The Epstein files, anything that was juicy, the deep state took it for blackmail material on the politicians and celebrities. Right? If there's any videos or photographs, like if they found videos or photographs or audio recordings of any politicians that are currently office holders or past, the deep state's going to take that to blackmail them to do their bidding in the future. They wouldn't leave that in the files. Mm-mm.
Yeah, but with those digital records, isn't it like nothing ever is actually deleted or lost or anything?
No, not that kind of stuff. Not that kind of stuff. I promise you, I would think Epstein probably was working for the government. I know people want to say he was Mossad because he was a Jew. He would probably be. He could have been, but he very well could have been working for our deep state.
Yeah.
And they were collecting
it's
intel.
always one giant group anyway, and then they just use, the U.S. government or Israeli government is just like sort of their.
It's blackmail. It's blackmail material. I mean, remember in Godfather 2, when Don Corleone, he couldn't get that senator to do his bidding, so he took him to a brothel, and he had a picture of him with like a dead prostitute. You remember that? That's what Epstein was to these people. They got yeah.
Tricks in the book.
Exactly. So if you're a federal judge if you're a federal judge or you're a senator and there's a bill coming through and they want you to vote a certain way, they just remind you of that video they have of you with Epstein on Epstein Island, and then you vote the way they want you to vote.
Yeah, no kidding. And then I just had one other question. I see with Doge and everything, it's uncovering a lot of government waste, but it seems to be mostly all on the left.
Yes.
Do you think there's like a reason why are they purposely not finding waste on the right, or?
No, the Democrats are more criminal. I mean, look at Schumer. He's never worked outside of government. As soon as he graduated law school, he got a job in state government in New York. He's worth $80 million. How do you make that much money? How's he worth $80 million working for the government his whole life?
They're on the inside.
Mm-hmm. They're all corrupt. Democrats are more corrupt than Republicans.
Do you think we'll ever get to any sort of state where there's a way to weed out corruption, or do you think it's just in the hearts of men anyway?
Well, yeah, but that's why they're working so fast to do away with the Department of Education and these different things. USAID, it looks to me like USAID was like a CIA front organization that was like their bank. It was like their bank that they were doing everything through. So taking out USAID was a severe blow to these people. Severe blow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well,
I just think it's pretty upsetting that we'll never see arrests or anything like that from these Epstein files. I mean, it's almost sickening to be honest.
I don't expect that. No. These are, listen, I'm telling you, all that, I promise you his place was wired up with video and sound and audio, and that's all in, it's the J. Edgar Hoover files. They added it to the J. Edgar Hoover files.
It's so wild.
It is, isn't it?
Well, this is the first time I've been listening instead of the call, and I just wanted to hear your thoughts. Thank you.
All right, take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, hold on. I just lost power. We're off the air. Yeah, I lost power. I'm trying to get us connected. Power went out. Okay, we are back. Welcome back, everyone. We had a power outage, so I don't know if you guys on the air noticed it or not. Power flicked and knocked everything off and had to reset everything. We're back. And my name's Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk on the longest running radio show in the state of Florida, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. All right, back to our open phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is Steve from Sarasota.
Yes, Sarasota. Do you know a guy named Tim? Sarasota Tim?
Yeah, Tim's great. We hung out last weekend. Really.
Are you serious? Do you really know Sarasota Tim?
Oh yeah, Tim's great.
Tell him Brian Craig said hi. What?
Oh, I will do. I'll give him a ring later.
Yeah.
Great show today, by the way. I think you really laying it down.
Okay, I appreciate that. Before he gets to the coup de grace. All right, we'll back to the phones. Oh my goodness! What this is one of the most exciting open phone days we've had on a Friday in a long time, I must say. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. It's Joan from Tampa Bay.
Oh, hey, Joan. All right, Joan.
Guess what? I went to school before the Board of Education was even created.
Wow.
Right? Well, and I graduated college before the Board of Education was created.
So,
I graduated Piper High School in 1974.
Oh my goodness! So you actually you went to a segregated school if you're in Florida.
No, it was not segregated.
Did you go to school in Florida?
Yes, I went to Piper High School in Sunrise.
Well, at some point in your schooling, it had to be segregated. When did you start kindergarten?
Well, I did kindergarten in New York City.
Oh, okay. Well, when did you move to Florida?
I moved to Florida in 1969.
I don't know. You know, when I was in 5th grade in Florida, I went to a school in Okeechobee, Florida. And it used to be, the school I was in was an old school building, and they said it was the colored high school. They used to call it that. They actually said colored. It was the racially segregated high school for blacks that they had turned into an elementary school. But anyway, that wasn't why you called.
Now, I was the second graduating class of Piper High School in Sunrise, Florida.
Wow.
We didn't even have the walls up.
Wow.
Right? Yeah, and we were segregated. The guy would say, "Let me hold your pencil." You know what I'm saying?
Do you know what the last school district in America was to desegregated schools to allow whites and blacks to go to school together? The last school district in America. What would be? Guess.
I have no idea.
Okay, this is amazing. I learned this in college when because I was in an education class I took in college. I was surprised my liberal professor shared this. The last school district in America to desegregate its public schools so that black and whites could go to school together was Boston. Boston. Wow. Isn't that something? Liberal Boston.
They were busing in people that would have gone to Dillard High School back then.
Oh, yes. That's true. So anyway, why'd you call today?
Well, the thing is, I went to school before there was a Department of Education. I can read, I can write. I went to FAU.
Oh, so did I. We're both alumni from Florida Atlantic University.
Yeah, but I was
Oh, yes, that's for sure.
They used to have the rat, and the drinking age back then was 18.
I know. I remember when I was a kid and the drinking age was 18, but it changed to 21 before, but whatever.
Yeah, but anyway, no, I could do algebra, trigonometry, geometry, and that was before the board of
Yeah,
education.
did you know about critical race theory? Did you learn about that?
No, they busting people that should have
Well,
been admitted.
when you were in school in the 70s, what about the transgendered students? Where were they?
You know what? You call me crazy, but I didn't even know about gay people until I was in my 20s.
You know, the first gay person I knew of was a woman who was my home ec teacher at Stranahan High School in Fort Lauderdale. And you know how we found out she was gay? She was on the front page of the Fort Lauderdale Sun-Sentinel with my math teacher at a gay rights parade. So we knew both of them. That's how we found out the home ec teacher and my math teacher were lesbians. I don't know if they were a couple, but they were both gay.
Just people did what they, and you know what? I got to tell you another thing. I didn't even know that there were hermaphrodites until I took a psychology class.
Oh, you can't use that word. You're so far behind. That's like back when at the colored high school talk. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. All right. A walk down memory lane. The 70s in the South. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. All right. Once, twice. All right. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. It's Steve from Brooklyn calling you again.
Hey, Steve.
Brian, I was on Nextdoor, that site on my phone, Nextdoor, and
The Nextdoor app.
The Nextdoor app, and I read a post that said that there's some sort of protest going to happen at Elon's Tesla dealership in Imperial Point this Saturday.
Oh my goodness. You know, this is the thing, okay? Imperial Point, where's that? That's in New York, right?
No, it's Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, the one in Fort Lauderdale? Oh, I know. You know, here's the thing, okay? Fort Lauderdale is a Democrat town, okay? I grew up there. I grew up in Fort Lauderdale. My mother still lives in Fort Lauderdale in the same house I grew up in. It's a very liberal Democrat town run by gay activists. So if they're going to protest a Tesla in Fort Lauderdale, they're protesting against liberal Democrats. That's who owns it, works it, and buys the cars. So these Democrats are harassing their own people. Remember in the first campaign, President Trump would say in the rally speeches, say what you want about Democrats, but they always stick together. A friend of mine yesterday sent me a text and said Republicans should have a Tesla parade, kind of like the Trump boat parades, but there should be a Tesla. There aren't enough Republicans that own Teslas to have a parade. You couldn't fill up a parking lot at a Walmart with Republicans that own Teslas in Florida. So, but when they protest Teslas and vandalize Teslas, they're attacking their own people, Democrats. And they're so angry they don't even see it.
Well, I thought this would be like a public interest call. I'm going to be down there with my signs for Trump and Elon. Win-win-win.
I'll tell you what, send me can you DM me on Twitter with that? Because I might go. Maybe I'll go. It's Saturday. I'll go.
It might have been taken off because somebody posted afterwards.
All right. If anybody knows about it, send me a DM on X because I'll go. I'll wear my MAGA hat. And you know what? I've got a couple of Elon Musk shirts. So I've got a Doge Hawaiian shirt I bought for the cruise. It's big on me now because I lost so much weight.
I've got my MAGA hat and my garbage vest that I wore throughout the primary.
Okay, I'll so if there's a Tesla protest, let me know all about it, and I'll go. I'll wear my Elon Musk, one of my Elon Musk shirts. I've got a dark MAGA shirt with him on it, and I've also got a Doge shirt. And I'll wear my MAGA hat, and I'll go to it, and
I'll be there with with the sign, my homemade oak tag sign, and I'll have it out there. When it shows up, let him come on to a Brooklyn boy.
Okay, all right, okay, I appreciate the call. Sounds like fun. The reason I'll cover it, I'll make a YouTube video, I'll cover it. But if anybody knows about that, let me know. Callers on hold, stand by. We'll take our last break and be back. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show. If you're on hold, hang in there. I was not able to get a hold of William Youngerman today, but gold is over $3,000 this morning. So right now it's at $3,042.40. So he must be busy because gold is at these record highs. And I remember when William Youngerman had predicted that gold was going to break 3,000. He knows what he's talking. I knew it happened. I didn't think it happened this quick. But listen, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. If you're interested in buying or selling any of the metals, give him a call or stop in. You can do all your transactions over the phone and through the mail, no matter where you're located in America. His number is 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. And his address is 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway, on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. All right, let's go back to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Sebastian in Norfolk. How you doing?
All right. How are you?
Yeah, I just got to say that hold music is really hard to masturbate to, but
that's nice. There you go. So that's the fourth time today. I knew that was coming, Mike. 4 times. Oh, my goodness. Oh, boy, oh boy. If you're on hold, hang in there while we wait for the delay to rebuild. And I'm kind of glad that happened because while we're waiting for the delay to rebuild, I've been wanting to play this some of this audio all day, and I have not. Now I don't have it queued up. Can you believe this? I had this ready to play all morning, and I guess here it is. John Cusack is a liberal lunatic, and the thing with John Cusack, when I was growing up, he was like one of the coolest guys around. John Cusack, and his movie Better Off Dead. I bought that movie. I love. But anybody ever see Better Off Dead? I love that movie. It never gets old, and he was in a bunch of other movies too, like 16 Candles and things like that. I've always been a fan of John Cusack. And he's a fantastic, amazing actor. He should have Oscars because his real personality is nothing like he is on film. Listen to this. He's talking about Elon and Tesla and Doge and Trump. Listen, this is John Cusack. This arch villain of late-stage capitalism? Oh my goodness, what does that even mean? John Cusack, first off, that's not true. John Cusack played Hitler in a movie where Hitler was a nice guy. I don't remember the name of the movie, but you can look it up. John Cusack, Hitler. He played Hitler before, it was before he became the Nazi leader. And John Cusack played a Jewish art dealer, and he hired Hitler. It was right after World War I, to work for him. And it made Hitler into this nice human guy, and he'd have Hitler over to his house and everything else. And I cannot remember the name of that movie. If anyone knows. So while he's talking about Elon with the Sieg Heil, which didn't happen, it's called Max, M-A-X. Thank you. Someone in the chat told me. M-A-X. It's called Max. It is the only movie that humanizes Hitler and puts him in a good light, starring John Cusack. He didn't play Hitler, but Hitler's in it. It's called Max, M-A-X. There you go, John Cusack. Okay, I'm looking at the line. We got him, William Youngerman from the office of William Youngerman Incorporated. William, how you doing?
Oh, doing okay. Sorry I missed you.
That's okay. Well, hey, listen, at these gold prices, I can understand if you can't answer the phone.
Well, certainly exciting times in the precious metals. You ready for your report?
Yeah. I kind of I did the layman's version, but if you could give us the prices, I'd love to hear them today.
Absolutely. Gold is taking a little breather today, down $8.40 at $3,035.80 after the last few days of making new record highs almost every day, with a little bit of a pullback, giving us buying opportunities, but not much, and then making new highs. That's been the pattern, and it continues to be so throughout the last couple of weeks. We see it go up, make new highs, pull back a couple, maybe $10, $20, and then go right back up and set new highs again. So down $8.40 right now. It's $3,035.80. Silver down 42 cents at $33.12. Platinum down $11 at $9.73, and palladium at $9.34 unchanged. So the markets are holding very firm. Gold building a good base above $3,000, and silver holding nicely above $33 so far. So these giving us a little bit of a pullback on this Friday.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for calling in with the numbers, because I didn't have all the updated numbers, and I don't know can you call it a pullback when it's over $3,000 gold? I don't know. I mean, we'll take
whatever opportunity we get.
I'm telling you. Listen, William Youngman opens up at 10 a.m. Give him a call, 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. And again, his address, 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca. And you can find both, which is just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road on the first floor of the Bank of America building. Find both his address and phone number on his website, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, take care. We'll talk on Monday.
Thank you. Have a nice weekend.
All right, so let's get back to John Cusack. Yeah, The Grifters. I love The Grifters. That's a great movie. And Ned Benning and him in that's a great movie.
It's good to remember these unprecedented times of criminality
Oh,
going on in the United States right now.
by Elon and Trump.
Like Trump, Musk is a pathological liar. He's a criminal. He's a sociopath.
Oh, and a ghoul. He's a ghoul. He's a sociopath and a ghoul. Now, is he a ghost? What is he? He's a ghoul? That's interesting. Is that a real thing? A ghoul?
He's a criminal. He's a sociopath and
A ghoul, yeah. John Cusack.
very precisely because
No.
who else would use his own child as a sympathy prop while literally taking starving aid away from people all over the world?
Okay, so being a good father and taking your kid to work, that's using your child as a prop.
He's literally killing people. People are going to die because of this madness. He's a man who threw 80,000 people from the VA out of work indiscriminately. And as far as
The plunder.
I would urge everybody to really follow Bernie Sanders fighting oligarchy tour.
Oh yes. Listen, we'll all do that. That's what all weekend. I'm going to follow. I'm going to do that. I'm going to follow Bernie Sanders' oligarch tour. Oh my goodness. John Cusack. Don't you have a whole new appreciation for his acting though when you see what a monster he is? But he said he's a ghoul, Elon Musk. Are ghouls real things? Now listen. If you've not taken advantage of this, I don't know why. This is amazing. Your free doorbell camera offer from Sloman's with the installation of your Sloman's Shield. It's a great deal. It works. You get a notification on your cell phone every time there's movement at your door, no matter where you are. Like when I'm on the cruise in a couple of weeks, no matter where we are in the islands, Puerto Plata, I'll get a notification on my phone if there's movement in the front of my house. It's amazing, right on my cell phone, and I can see who's there. Sloman's is also going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. You get an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts, a lifetime warranty, a backup battery, plus a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Give them a call, 1-800-ALARM-ME. 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right, you lost your chance. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, good morning. Jay from Jersey.
Okay, Jay, we're short on time, so get to it.
Okay, I just basically was saying, I see where you said that prices have come down. How come you the only person that sees this? You must be behind the wall of blind glasses because prices are going up. They haven't went down.
Gas is under $3 a gallon, $2.59 a gallon.
Gas is what?
$2.59 a gallon.
Okay, but my gas has come down to the price it was the day that Trump took over, $2.77.
Oh, so it's even down where you're at in Jersey.
Prices, so it's down.
Grocery prices are down too. Grocery prices are down?
It's down. No, grocery prices are not
Eggs
down.
eggs are down about 40%. Eggs are down about 40%.
Eggs are still $13 a dozen.
If you buy the specialty eggs from the cruelty-free farms,
I buy any egg as long as it ain't $13.
No.
I don't care what chicken.
For a dozen eggs, no, it's not. Egg prices are down over 30%, almost 40%. Come on, Jay.
They were up to $21.
Listen. I'm almost out of time, but I'm going to give you some advice, okay? Go to your email and check your spam folder for the new Democrat talking points, because those talking points are like 2 or 3 weeks old.
Okay.
Okay, all right. He said, okay, he's going to do it. Oh, my goodness. Hey, everyone. It's been a great show today. Great calls. We did not break the record on the dump button usage. Didn't even come close, but we had some great calls throughout the day. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll see you tomorrow morning we'll see you Monday morning, not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday. We'll see you Monday morning at 6 a.m. Take care. Okay, we're out. Now listen, I'm going to continue for a little while longer here on YouTube. We're not on the radio now. I'm going to take some of these calls as soon as I make sure we are off the air. Okay? Hold on. I'll take a couple of them. And then as soon as I get clearance, all right, we're off. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, Charla.
Hey, Charla.
Fort Myers.
What's on your
I
mind?
wanted to know, why is... I was laughing because you were talking about Lauderdale earlier, and I said... And I have to laugh because I'm thinking, why can't they turn it red? It's because everybody in there is gay. I live in a nice county where, since I moved here 25 years ago, it's been red. It's even more red.
Where? Why can't they turn where red?
Charlotte County.
Where's Charlotte County?
Fort Lauderdale.
Oh.
Oh, it's right next. It's in Punta Gorda. It's a nice area to live. And since I've lived here since 1998, it's been like red, and it's still red. What's the deal with Lauderdale?
Lauderdale, Fort Lauderdale, and I love Fort Lauderdale. I was just there over the weekend, and it's like I say, it's where I grew up. It's where my mother still lives, and to me, it's one of the best cities in all of Florida with the best beach. But it's in Broward County, which has always been heavily Democrat, and it's run by gay activists, and there was a large.
Why do they keep rehiring that girl with the Raymond hair, the noodle hair, the ugly one?
I don't know who you're talking about.
No, what's her name? Debbie Schultz.
Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Debbie Wasserman Schultz is
she's so ugly.
Yeah. Oh, and on the inside too. She's a member of the House of Representatives, and she I know she's not very likable. She has a congressional district that has one of the largest retirement communities in South Florida, and it's called Century Village. And she has there's over 50,000 people that live in that retirement community, and she has that retirement community's vote locked up. It's very liberal, New York retirees, high percentage of Jews, and she's Jewish, and she's able to con them into voting for her. If they took that retirement community out of her district, she would be defeatable.
Man, I'm glad I don't live there. That's all I could say. I go there for cruises, but that's about it.
Well, I'll tell you, yeah. Luckily, she's not my congresswoman, but she's a nasty person.
I have, yeah. The more, I'm on the West Coast, and it's a lot more red than the East Coast for sure.
Yeah, but I live down the street from the president. Mar-a-Lago is in a Democrat town too. The president.
I know. That's why they give him trouble all the time.
Yeah. When before he was president, he was trying to get a helicopter pad for years built at Mar-a-Lago, and they wouldn't let him. They always hated him, the Democrats in Palm Beach. But when he became president, they built one. They would not even let him fly his American flagpole. They had height restrictions. So what he did is he raised the ground at Mar-a-Lago. So then it was the right.
He's not wanting him. He's always playing.
Because he's a very smart guy. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, me. Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian. Can you hear me okay? It's IB.
Hey, IB. What's up?
Man, I was on hold like almost an hour. I couldn't believe it. It's crazy. Yeah, it was a beautiful show. I wish I would have gotten in there because
you're still on. I'm still streaming on YouTube, so you're still on YouTube.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know. Okay, I like the way you did that. I like the way you did that. And we'll talk about that differently. Number one, I want to say really quickly, I want you to protect yourself. I'm in the central area of Fort Lauderdale. I might even check out this Tesla situation. I might be there, but I want you to make sure that you have a taser, a billy club. No.
I'm not going to I'm so glad I took his call. I'm not going to bring you. I'm just going to bring my camera and make a YouTube video. Well, listen, guys, thanks, everyone. And I do appreciate you all watching. If you're new to my channel, my name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. And everyone else who's not subscribed, or who's already subscribed, like and share the video if you don't mind. All right? All right. I'll see you over the weekend for sure. Take care.